Hey guys, Deltarune's gonna, I just looked at the news about Deltarune Chapter 5 and you're like, what do you mean it's coming out on the 24th? That's in like 3 days. Seriously? And I was like, last time we had to wait like years for this, like 5 years. Like, how many times was it for the past 2 chapters? Oh, and don't even get me started on Chapter 1. That was a wait. Anyway. But because Deltarune is coming out, and I apologize for the light here. I guess I can look like this. Anyway, since before Deltarune's coming out, I guess I had to maybe give everybody my theories, because I have some interesting theories. Because I know Toby Fox did like a whole "all your theories are wrong" lol in one of the thumbnails. I don't know if he actually typed that, but like. He's probably... It seems like something he'd do. Because, honestly, let's be honest, all of our theories are probably wrong. So let me give you my theory, because I have some interesting ones. And I'd like to give you some, like, visuals here, but I'm just gonna... We're just gonna talk face-to-face. Face-to-face... No, we're putting these back on. So... I'm going to start with something simple, alright? Who's the knight? A lot of people say it's Des. A lot of people say it's like... maybe the old... Like the... whatever her mom... Whatever Noelle's mom's name is. Yeah, no. You know who I think it is? I think the knight is no one. Nobody is the knight. The knight is its own entity. There's not a light in her that's secretly the knight this whole time or anything. The knight is nobody. And, because why else, like, you can't get us when you're in the dark world, when we're in the light world, can you? Now, here's my theory. This is another wild one. What if we're not even fighting against Chris's body? What if Chris isn't rebelling against us and ripping the soul out or whatnot? No. What if the knight actually is an entity, and the knight possesses Chris and controls Chris instead? Think about that. The knight is all alone. If the knight is alone, why would they have some connections with Chris, the vessel? And more importantly, why would we have Chris as the vessel? So, my only good answer is, here's my theory. The knight's actually... Oh, and we see some... I have some evidence, too. Like, we see Chris open up a dark fountain. Quite literally see... It seems like... To me, it seems like Toby Fox is spoon-feeding this to us, and we're just not getting it. But, I mean, it felt so obvious to me. Like, Chris is being possessed. Chris is... It's not, Chris and the knight have some relationship. No, Chris is being controlled. But theory is like... Now, it's been in pretty much every one of Toby Fox's games, and and even the game that inspired Toby Fox to make Undertale. It's always been, like, that game is called Off. And all of them... In all of them, the vessel is different from the player. They're two different entities, and the heart represents the player, and the vessel is the guy you're moving. Sometimes the vessel might make a decision for itself, but like for the most part, it's controlled by the player, and it doesn't really have a whole lot of choice. It can act on its own, but it's the player. And the knight is able to exploit that by just trying to take control of your vessel. Now, here's the other thing, is why Chris? Why not someone else? Well, my theory is simple. And also, why doesn't the knight kill us when we have the chance, is the other thing. Why doesn't the knight just... when the knight wipes out the party, why doesn't it just kill the party? It could have been over right there. And why are they more reluctant to hurt Chris? My theory is quite simple. The knight would be actively fighting. Think about this. If the knight didn't rip the heart out, if it didn't rip the soul out, how would they control the vessel? That would be them fighting the the controller of the vessel for that would be them fighting us actively to control the vessel. Like, it presses right, I press left, and it just like moves between. I don't know. It could probably do it with a monster, but the problem is you can't rip out a monster soul. They don't have that power. Only the humans do. So that's why he needs Chris. Look around the town, the only human there is Chris. So, in order to be able to do anything, he needs Chris. And that's... The other thing is, like, we notice... Honestly, I don't think Des is the knight. Des is just some random teenage girl that they mentioned. Okay? How is that going to be the knight? Or anything like that? Like, there's no... Or some people might even say Chris is the knight. That could also be a good explanation. Chris, and then you took the... I don't know. So here's the theory, though. There's talk about, what's going to happen with the prophecy. We didn't get to see the last line of the prophecy. But what if the theory is that one of the people in the prophecy has to die? And the only way to beat the knight is to kill Chris. Because if you kill Chris, the knight no longer has a vessel. The knight is no longer able to open dark fountains. So that's where I think the prophecy is there. But the thing is, the other thing they pointed out is delta means change in mathematics. And so we're wondering, what if Susie is going to beat the prophecy? What if Susie instead kills the knight? My theory is that the knight is going to get killed by Susie. Like, we haven't seen anybody die in Deltarune, like, ever. The closest we've gotten was Gerson, who was just alive at one point. But no, my theory is what if Susie kills the knight instead of going after the vessel, we go after the person, we go after the entity itself. Now, there's another thing I'm thinking of that I just kind of am thinking of. We noticed there were three things on the locker, the bunker, which show, I think those are the three people who have the combination. There was the police station. Why do you think the knight grabbed Undyne? Why do you think Chris slashed the tires before opening the dark fountain? He wanted both Toriel and Undyne at the same place, and the last place that has it is the mean deer lady. My theory is the knight has something in that bunker. What is in that bunker, though? I have no idea. I honestly don't have any theories about that. I wonder if the bunker has, like... I don't even know. What would realistically be there? Now we can tell there's probably already a dark world there. It's probably already a dark world inside the bunker, the shelter, whatever it is. So... I haven't thought about that yet, but these are my biggest theories, and it's interesting because I wanted to give them before Chapter 5 comes out, because what if I'm right? What if I'm right and I have to go without any proof that I was right and just say, yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I would just be another person just saying, I knew it. And without proof, and it'd be another one of those, oh, what are you talking about? So here we are. I'm going to upload this to YouTube before Deltarune Chapter 5 comes out. I'm not editing anything. I'm just uploading it straight to YouTube. But you see, this is something I thought was fascinating. It's something I really wanted to to see was like something I really want to point out, and I've had this theory for like a while now, that like since I played chapter 4, I was like, it was kind of becoming clear to me that Chris and the Knight aren't related, aren't teaming up. The Knight is acting through Chris. It kind of became pretty. That's what I've seen. Like if you look carefully, play chapter 4 again, and it'll start making sense. It just makes so much sense to me. Now I could very well be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. If it's wrong and it catches me off guard, great. If I'm right, great. I'm also hoping, on an unrelated note, I'm hoping at some point during these chapters we get a boss harder than Sans. Alright, we came close with the Roaring Knight, but it just isn't good enough. It just wasn't hard enough. I need something harder. But maybe I'm the only one. Anyway, what else is there? I know I have some other theories, right? The prophecy theorizing that one of the people in the prophecy must die. The other thing is, I'm not thinking that Susie's not part of the prophecy and Noelle is, or other person is. The other thing is, there's gotta be some weird lore too that we might be missing, which might have been like some secret prophecy or something. There's gotta be something. The other thing is, I think the initial vessel we make, maybe that's what's in the bunker. What's in the bunker might have been the vessel that we made that got discarded, and maybe that's something the Knight is trying to work on. Maybe the Knight is going to use the vessel that we created. Because I know, look at the Thrash Machine. It looks like your choices didn't like, if you look at Deltarune Chapter 1, the whole thing is your choices don't matter. They blow up the Thrash Machine, you kill everybody, all you do is get to say goodbye to everyone. No, your choices matter in. It starts pointing out that, no, your choices do matter. And that's one thing I liked, is that he lured us into the false sense of security. Your choices don't matter. And I think that's another part of the lore. The prophecy is like, our choices don't matter. The fate is set in stone. The other thing is, I feel like there's probably a secret part of the prophecy that nobody knows of. That not even Ralsei knows. There's probably some secret. There's gotta be a secret prophecy. There's gotta be something secret within, like... Yeah. Maybe there are some secret lines that Ralsei doesn't know about. Who knows? That's another thing that's possible. Hold on, let me dismiss all these Linux messages. Done. Alright. But yeah, I just had to speak of that. What else is there I gotta think about? I know there's more I had to theorize on. The other thing is, we noticed the Knight is kind of just... When you look at the fight, the Knight... I feel like the fight against the Knight, it's not the Knight was holding back the whole time. I think the Knight just manages to beat you because you got cocky or something. I think we're gonna fight the Knight again. We might lose, we might win, something like that. I feel like... like we whooped the Titan. What's gonna happen next chapter, though? First off, where's the next Dark World gonna be? And I have a strong feeling there has to be something... Wait a second! Oh, I just thought of something. What if the person who has the bunker code isn't Toriel, but Asgore? What if Asgore has it? And notice there's that weird door in Asgore's house that you can go into. Why is it there? It's gotta be there for a reason. I bet that there's going to be a dark world behind there in one of these chapters, whether it be chapter 5 or chapter 6. I think chapter 7's gonna be like in the bunker or something, or maybe the bunker's where you're gonna meet the final boss or something. Who knows? But I think chapter 5 plays either. Let's see, where is there a spot on the map for a dark world? I know there's one in Asgore's house. That's a good spot to put it in. There's got to be something there. But Toby Fox wouldn't add that for no reason. Maybe he would. Who knows? Maybe they build one in Noel's house, but I think it's a little unlikely. Maybe they put one in the mayor's office. Maybe they put one in the hospital. But I know I'm pretty sure Asgore's gonna have one dark world in there. And then what if it turns out Asgore actually has the bunker code there instead? But the other thing is, what if there's something in the bunker that we're not supposed to touch, and what if it's actually best that we don't get into the bunker, and then when we go in the bunker, we release something so way messed up, and the Knight the whole time was just trying to not get us to mess up? That's another good theory that would be out there. What if the Knight wasn't even evil this whole time? The Knight has just been trying to stop us from opening. Yeah, but then why would the Knight do this in the first place? I'm theorizing too much. I'm thinking too much right now. I wonder if I'm wondering if what's in the bunker, there has to be something so important that the people that know what's in the bunker don't want to touch it. Why do you think the mayor guarded that so heavily? The other thing is, there's Toriel, and then there's Undyne knew it. Undyne got captured, but we still have Toriel, and we still have the... It could be Asgore has the code instead. That is another random wild theory I'm going to go with. But that's everything I was thinking. I'm really interested in seeing how chapter 5 turns out. Wait, hold on. A lot of them mentioned that they all had to do with chess pieces. So there was king, queen, and then tenor was a rook, and then there's a bishop came next. What if the next boss is actually the Knight, and we beat the Knight in chapter 5? Then this next one will be pawn, and what comes after that? The theory with all of them being chess pieces is, the problem with that is there's only 6 chess pieces in 7 chapters. But I like the theory, because I kind of like that's how people managed to determine that it was going to be a church theme, was by using, there'll have to be a bishop next. But yeah, I wonder if we fight the Knight again in chapter 5. But again, who was actually the person we were fighting? The enemy was the Titan. So it seems like maybe chess has a little bit to do with it, but it might have also not. But this is a good theory. This is something to go on. What if we beat the Knight in chapter 5? Chapter 6, there is no Knight. The Knight's gone. The Knight's been dealt with. The Knight's been defeated or something. And the Knight's still acting through Chris, but like in the Dark World, we beat them, and now they're like on the run or something. Or maybe there's something even worse that we encounter. What if we beat the Knight, and then the Knight tells us that there's already a Dark World in Asgore's house, and then we manage to get into the bunker, and we fight whatever's in the bunker? What if there's already a dark fountain in both of them, and the Knight is trying to start the roaring for some reason, and we beat them both, and... who knows? The other the other thing is, I don't know if we're gonna get Noel again as a party member. We might very well not get Noel again, or we might, and maybe he just adds a mechanic to switch characters. Who knows? Or even better, what if we just don't get Chris at some point, or don't get Rouse, or interesting. So we know Chris is part of the prophecy, and we're pretty sure Susie's part of the prophecy. There's the theory that Noelle is and Susie isn't, but I think Susie's the one in the prophecy. Yeah, honestly, this is my theory. I should really end it all this. I'm just overcomplicating things. I'm really just making this as proof. Say I'm right. This is proof that I was right. Everybody's gonna go, oh, I knew it. And none of them knew it. But I'm here to prove that I knew it. Anyway, that's really it. I'm gonna upload this straight to YouTube. No editing. You're gonna hear all of my rants. So yeah. That's really it. See you guys.